Hey Jim, 512 Systems, or 512, just 512.
Just 512.
Jim Coker, I've been told by many people I have to come here and basically come and see your sequencer, because you've taken the software and made it into a physical thing, right?
Yes, yes. This is essentially a distillation of the software program called Numerology for Mac OS X into a Eurorack module. The general format is classic analog editing style. So we have 8 encoders with these beautiful OLED displays, so you can always see the values you're editing. And as you switch through the different edit modes, the graphics change to match what you're editing. There's a little mini keyboard below the encoders that can be used to step record patterns, but also the white keys can be used for skipping steps, muting steps, even selecting steps that you can then edit as a group.
I mean, the numerology is kind of quite legendary. Lots of people really swear by it as a sequencer for, I guess, sequencing MIDI stuff and CV stuff. I mean, where did it go from here into modular? Is it because, I mean, the computer isn't always the first port of call, shall we say?
Right. Well, I've always wanted to support different controllers for numerology, and kind of the classic one that works really, really well is the Launchpad. And in terms of designing a Eurorack interface, I wanted to go with a different approach with buttons and knobs and a little display. In fact, I kind of wanted to do this sort of UI for numerology in a controller for 7 or 8 or 10 years.
Oh, so it's almost like what if you were making the controller for numerology, this would be what it would be like, but it now works with CV, and has it got MIDI?
Yeah, we've got actually a remarkable amount of MIDI on here. We have 2 MIDI jacks, 3.5 millimeter TRS. There'll be adapters, and then we have both USB host and USB device.
Oh, sweet! So you can plug in. Okay.
You can plug it into your computer to do MIDI. You can plug it into an iPad or an iPhone. Mini small keyboards only have USB, so you can plug those in. I've got the Yamaha DX plugged in, and it's kind of very convenient because you can do local off, so you can sequence the sounds on the DX while you're still using the keyboard to program in sounds for any of the different parts.
And in fact, I bumped into Daniel Miller. I don't mean to name drop, but we often see him here, and he was saying it's really brilliant because you can just go deep in or deep, you can go in or out, and it's very easy to get to all the parameters. So I'm guessing, how many lanes of sequencing have you got? You got note and...
Well, there are 8 parts, so 8 melodic lines, and each one of those you get pitch, gate time, velocity, step length, ratchet. There's a series of chance operations where you can select one of about 40 different things. This is jump backwards. I can say the probability is 50%. You could even say probability is 100, and we want it to happen every 4 bars.
Right.
In addition, so that's maybe 8 or 10 parameters for each step, for each melodic line, right? And then there are 2 sub-sequencers for each of those parts for internal modulation, which is very much a numerology type of approach, where you've got your main melodic sequence. In numerology, it'd be a note sequencer, a mononote, a polynote, and then you can add modulation sequencers that are independent of that to change parameters however you see fit. The classic case is to transpose your sequence every bar, so you get kind of chord change effect over the sequence.
Wow, so really quite deep. I mean, people could use this as a basis of a live setup without the need.
That's the goal. So there are also presets. Each part has 20 presets. That will eventually double to 40. And I'm working on a scene mode so that
you can whole lot you can change.
You'll be able to scroll down, pick the presets for the next scene, queue it up, and have it hit all at once. There'll be some sort of live arrangement feature where you can chain presets and have them automatically loop through.
Yeah, and I suppose you could also, can you MIDI map that sort of stuff as well? So you could trigger a scene or a program change from a pad or an incoming.
Yes.
Oh wow! So I mean, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah. Yep. There's a SD card on the back. Auto saves your work, so you don't have to worry about that. When you turn the power off and turn it back on, it'll reload the last saved version. You can flip the whole thing into disk mode and mount it to your computer to back up your files.
You've thought of a lot of stuff, right?
I've been working on this for a while.
I'm curious though, I mean, you know, as a software guy,
yeah.
where did you suddenly think, you know, I need to change things up, I need a life change, I need to make some hardware, because it's a headache, right?
Well, it's a learning curve, right? But it's a lot of fun because there are lots of cool little tricks you can do in hardware in terms of controlling the DAC chips or working with USB. It's a really interesting design challenge to take something like numerology, which is very open-ended and seems maybe a little too complicated, and to reorganize those ideas into a fixed user interface that you can flip through different modes, but it's always the same switches and knobs.
I guess the other thing is you're finitely fixed to the hardware you make, whereas in software you can go, I'm going to add another button to the GUI. You can't do that here, right?
You cannot do that, you know, and it's an interesting challenge, and it also helps inform design on the software side, right? So you instead of just saying, oh, I'll just add another button, you start to think, well, really, how does this work in a way that's consistent in the way that hardware has to be consistent?
So have you got something running here? Tell me what the setup is.
So I've got 4 parts running. Part 1 is a sequence line with 16th notes through the Dixie and the SEM filter with a couple of simple envelopes on that. Part 5 is chords going to, you pick part 5, there we are, just octave chords going into the Yamaha. And then parts 7 and 8 are bass drum and hats. Everything's coming in through the Praga and then to the mixer.
So if we turn that up, it's going to sound great, right?
It's going to sound pretty good, yeah.
So I guess the thing with the probabilities and those sort of cycles is you can create very long and evolving patterns.
Absolutely,
change,
absolutely.
Right?
It's great for having a pattern that changes up every so often. It's great for building drum fills and drum patterns where you've got a little bit of variation on every pass, and then every 4 bars you can have more variation, more notes coming in.
And have you designed it in a way that makes it kind of easy to perform with those functions? Or is it more just to kind of set it up?
No, I really like it so that you can start from zero and start to build things, and then you get to where you've got the outlines of a track, and then you can come back in and just keep re-sculpturing it, moving it in different directions.
So I guess with the question also comes in, when you've created your opus on here and you hook it up to the drive mode to the computer, will numerology read those files and let you carry on working?
That may happen. I can't guarantee that yet, but it is designed to allow that. You know.
So the architecture of the sequences in here is similar.
It's very similar. It's the same sequencing algorithm, the same code base. The preset structure and the data storage are quite different because of the size constraints. You know, this CPU has 192 kilobytes of memory.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah. So things are a little more tightly compressed.
So with that much, I mean, does that mean that you have to, you're buffering the data as it comes in, or can you hold an entire set of sequence data in the RAM in the thing?
Everything is held in RAM. It's just a lot more efficient than it needs to be on a desktop. And so things that are only on and off are single bit, things that you only need 100 values are 1 byte. But everything runs out of RAM very fast, very efficiently.
Right.
The SD card is just to back up your work.
Cool. So I guess, you know, that inevitable set of questions, how much and when, all of that sort of stuff.
$699 US for the main unit, $359 for the expander.
Oh, okay.
It gives you, so on the main unit we have 2 sets of analog CV for monophonic parts, pitch, gate, and velocity for each. And then on the expander there are 4 more. 8 triggers on the expander and full-size MIDI and DIN-sync connections. All the outputs are fully assignable. So you can change the routing and the assignment based on the equipment you have. It gets saved with your project. The main sequencer is shooting to start shipping in August.
Okay, so real close, yeah.
Yeah, the expander will be a few weeks behind.
Right.
Yep.
Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming by.